as I watched my brother bleed out and the city go up in flames. I was shocked we were in this situation again. No matter how hard you pray, the devil will always find you.
Meech and Terry are two characters who had different agendas going into episode 3, but with both of them facing issues, they put their differences aside to help each other. But choices come with consequences, and with the city up in flames, Terry was shocked at the situation he found himself in. No matter how hard you pray, the devil always finds you. It was only a matter of time until Lamar caught up to Meech, and although many of us expected Lamar to be in recovery, I'll be really surprised that he pretty much woke from the dead and came back for revenge so quick. After all, this is the crazy Lamar we're talking about. Nobody and nothing can control him, but K9 may very well give him a good run for his money. So with Meech fighting for his life, don't be surprised if we see Terry back in the game, especially considering they have more problems than just Lamar. Cash is tight, as well as product. But as usual, we're going to run through all things episode 3, including B-Mickie's betrayal, his unborn baby, Terry's car ride service, and how Charles and Lucille's marriage is that breaking point. Now, Mischief Night was the night before Halloween, which dates back to the 1800s, and it started with innocent pranks, but it quickly turned into something deadly, and things got worse in the 70s due to the turmoil with the economy. It was like hell on earth. Now, for the first time in a while, we actually saw Charles in good spirits about his finances. They're finally turning a profit after hiring Denise as a third driver, and they wanted to take advantage of Devil's Night by increasing their prices. But this news report was a foreshadow for the problems that were about to become for Meech, a drug drought, which is the worst time to be in the game. Supply becomes limited, so anybody with product puts their prices up, crews start to beef, there's more robberies, and add the fact it was Devil's Night, it was double trouble. But it was Terry who found himself in trouble first. His tires were slashed, causing his car to spin out of control, and hurt Nikki along the way. And Charles had his doubts. He thought it was a blowback from Terry being back in the drug game, but it was actually Cleet who threatened him at the airport in episode 2. But it got worse. Not only was it Terry's car, Charles and Denise's car's tires were slashed as well. And that made Terry and Denise take matters into their own hands. They sabotaged Cleet's cars, and fast forward, him and Meech dragged him out of his car and beat him to a pulp. Now, I do think it's worth mentioning Terry's relationship with Markeisha. It's definitely something that we need to keep an eye on, because as the season progresses, they're definitely going to get closer and closer, especially considering she doesn't seem to be happy in her current marriage, because she's way too busy trying to please others. So that brought Terry and Markeisha closer in episode 3, and it's a relationship that will no doubt have a devastating impact on Wanda. Now let's talk all things Meech and K9, because this is a regular occurrence, with K9 giving words of wisdom.
I don't drink, get high, or go out to clubs. So what the hell you do for fun? I make money.
K9 is a character who's very intelligent. He's not got to the position he's in for no reason, and he's always had some words of wisdom for Meech, which he'd do well to take on board. K9 doesn't drink, get high, or go to nightclubs. So if we were to look at it in this way, by not drinking, he stays in control over his senses and emotions. And I know you've all heard this saying before, don't get high on your own supply. One of the most memorable quotes from various drug TV shows and movies, but one which sprung to mind at the time was Scarface. But on the nightclub point, he's avoiding crowded areas and a place which can sometimes be unpredictable, because we all know how things can escalate with rival gang members, especially because that's a place where you find both drink and drugs. So his version of fun is making money, and that's the aim of the game during this drought. But with Meech desperate for some weight, K9 gave him a task, bring him Travis alive, and alive was a key word, which is exactly what he told B-Mickie. So speaking of B-Mickie, we saw Detective Bryant pick him up yet again for a little talk, but it was more than just a talk. He took him to some containers where they'd been stashing dead bodies, with one of them being Kato's. Unfortunately for Kato, she didn't have much family, and so nobody claimed her body, but this is where Detective Bryant reveals some devastating news.
Here's the daddy. I would say congratulations, but that don't seem... Come on, nigga.
Kato was carrying B-Mickie's unborn baby, which really was heartbreaking. So now B-Mickie has to live with the knowledge he caused the death of his own baby and the mother, so no doubt he's going to be feeling all sorts of guilt, shame, and remorse. What this does long term, who knows, but it really is a devastating blow. And let's not forget the subtle hint of B-Mickie having to take care of a child when he and Meech went to look for Travis, which would have given him this feeling of what could have been. Now, on the pursuit of Travis, Meech got the information from his former babysitter Grace, who turned into a crackhead. But sometimes crackheads do have the best life lessons, as they've been through it and seen it all. For example, we saw it in Raising Kanan with Sam, and now in BMF we had Grace tell Meech he's just as addicted as she is. And was she wrong? Meech is addicted to the game, the hustle, the money, and the lifestyle that comes with it. But the consequences are people like Grace and her daughter. But where Grace can live and die with her choices, can Meech. Now, after realizing Travis was sleeping with Kanan's girls Peaches, a fierce shootout followed, one where Meech tried to avoid killing Travis, but in the end, he had no choice because Travis wasn't backing down. But Kanan made his instructions clear. He wanted Travis alive, and with him being delivered dead, so was Meech's supply chain, and he wasn't going to get that weight, which forced him to accept B-Mickie's offer of medical grade product, a seed that was planted earlier in the episode through Detective Bryant. So as Meech, Terry and B-Mickie were in conversation about how they just beat up Cleet, Meech's phone rang, and it was Monique who realized that Lamar was alive, something she didn't believe when Zoe saw him across the street earlier on in the episode. But with him dropping chocolates that he used to, she knew, and she tried to warn Meech, but to no avail. But when it was time for B-Mickie to take Meech to his new connect, notice Meech's choice of words.
I guess we got a motherfucking Judas in the family. Good thing I got you watching my back.
Does he suspect B-Mickie of being a snake? I don't think he does, but either way, this was going to be a lose-lose situation for Meech. If B-Mickie hadn't paused, then Detective Bryant would have got his man, but the fact they didn't get far, Lamar got him first. Lamar in a drive-by sprayed Meech's car, and he got hit, which is where Detective Bryant and Jin came bursting onto the scene, with Bryant being very heavy-handed. But Jin did mention earlier, they don't get to pick and choose who they save, although Bryant thinks the complete opposite. Eventually he did step back and let Terry put him in the car and take him to a hospital, but questions will be raised in episode 4 because now they know the devil is back. Now elsewhere, we saw Lucille approach Pastor Swift and open up to him about her failing marriage, which of course didn't go down well with Charles, and he warned Pastor Swift as well as Lucille, which really did put distance in their relationship. And this won't help either, Charles seeking fun elsewhere, and something that we should probably keep an eye on. Detective Bryant and Jin also had their work cut out on Devil's Night, one where Jin saved the life of a former soldier, where fire brought back memories of the dead soldiers and burning children, with Jin thanking him for being a hero, but dealing with her past and pain by burning herself, a coping mechanism for those who experience emotional pain. And it's not the first time either, based on the marks on Jin's arms. Meech is also back in the good books of Monique, but definitely highly complicated by the fact Lamar will want his family back. But that's a breakdown of BMF Season 2, Episode 3. One where we saw the devil seeking revenge. Although we know Meech will survive, this is something I expect to bring Terry back into the mix. So what's next for the Flenorys when Terry gets back into the game? How does B-Mickie continue to deal with not just snitching, but the thought of having killed Kato, who is carrying his unborn baby? And what's Lamar's next move? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything BMF and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.